Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be talking about the big four companies in K-pop, which are HYBE, YG, JYP, and SM, and share what groups I personally think have the best and worst discography under each of these labels. I know a lot of people are going to be upset over this video, so to try and counter that, I'm going to say at least a few positive things about each group that I think has the worst discography in their company. And as always, I want to remind you guys that this is my opinion, and if a group that I think has the worst discography under their company, you think has the best one, then that's totally fine. It really doesn't matter to me. One last thing, this is not a requirement. I would ask that if you discuss this video, whether it's in the comment section or wherever, please try and keep things respectful, but again, that's up to you, and I can't stop you if you don't want to do that. Thank you all so much for watching, and without further ado, let's start by talking about SM Entertainment. While I do think Red Velvet miss every once in a while with a title track such as Zimzalabim, compared to the rest of the SM groups, I feel like Red Velvet have the most consistency when it comes to releasing good music. I mean, just in 2018 alone, Red Velvet released Bad Boy, Power Up, and Really Bad Boy, all of which came with fantastic albums. And I don't know if many, if any other SM groups have had runs of 3 comebacks in 1 year where I have literally no complaints. Red Velvet always show off so much personality and character in their title tracks, and they're undeniably one of the most diverse groups under their company too. Going back to their 2018 run, they literally released Power Up right after Bad Boy. I mean, if that's not the definition of diversity, I really don't know what is. And this flexibility when it comes to their concepts is something that makes Red Velvet's discography not at all boring to listen to. I think if Red Velvet only did their brighter red concepts, their music would still be good, but it might get a little bit one note after a while. So the inclusion of their more mature Velvet side makes their music so much more interesting, and Red Velvet overall, an artist where you can listen to them alone for like 5 hours straight and literally not get bored a single time. In my opinion, Red Velvet have some of the most diverse music under SM, and they also have the most consistently good music, and that's what makes their discography my favorite under their company. Moving on, my least favorite discography under SM is Super M's. They only have 2 albums, one of which is a mini and the other is a full album, along with a couple of promotional singles. And although Super M do have a few standout tracks such as Tiger Inside, Together at Home, or One, it's kind of hard to ignore songs such as 100 when their discography is so small. 100 and Jopping, which is undeniably their most popular song, I feel like you can only really enjoy in an ironic sense. And if you take away the humor factor, the actual music doesn't really hold up on its own. As I said before, I do think they have some fantastic songs. I mean, Tiger Inside is probably one of the best title tracks of 2022. But personally, looking at their first full album, which had 15 tracks, I only have 5 of them saved, and that's a pretty bad ratio. Overall, I don't think that Super M have an awful discography, but I do think it's a little bit substandard when it comes to SM Entertainment, and that's why I ended up choosing them as the worst. Now, moving on to HYBE labels, my favorite discography under this company is ENHYPEN's. Full disclosure, I wasn't the biggest fan of their 2 title tracks this year, but I do feel like their B-sides have always been pretty good. And that's not something that changed at all with their comebacks in 2022. With ENHYPEN, their best songs are some of the best things you will ever hear in your entire life, and their worst aren't even really that bad if we're being honest. It's a little bit mind-blowing to me how ENHYPEN can release a song that goes absolutely crazy like Drunk Dazed, and then in the same album have these super enticing, slower tempo tracks such as Fever, but I'm not complaining because almost no matter what, the music's gonna be amazing every single time. I know a lot of people complain about the pretty common usage of autotune in ENHYPEN's discography, but I don't really mind it because I feel like it always fits. Tracks like Drunk Dazed or Go Big or Go Home would probably be worse off without the autotune. To me, it's very clearly a good stylistic choice there, but I know a lot of people just don't like autotune, so I can understand if you don't enjoy it. But overall, when it comes to the music, ENHYPEN has my favorite sense of artistic direction, and I have no hesitation in saying that in my opinion, they have the best discography under HYBE labels. So moving on to the worst section of HYBE, my personal choice was TXT. I absolutely do enjoy a really good handful of TXT songs. I mean, I love Drama, No Rules, Blue Orange Aid, and New Rules. And for their promoted singles, my top 3 are Cat and Dog, Blue Hour, and Crown. But I guess recently, their music hasn't really been doing it for me. From all of the albums of their past 3 comebacks, I actually only have 2 songs saved, and I think that's mostly because I don't enjoy the genres that they've been experimenting with recently. All of their newer stuff is is more on the angsty side, and I feel like if I was still in middle school, then yeah, I would totally love it. But I haven't listened to those types of songs since middle school, and I'm not really about to start again now. All in all, everything that I've said boils down to TXT isn't the group for me, but if you really like the stuff that they do nowadays, then good for you. Everyone has different taste in music, and that's fine. Next up, we have YG, and if I had to pick one of these 4 companies as the one that makes my least favorite music, it would probably be YG, but I do genuinely enjoy Blackpink stuff. They don't have too many tracks that I would consider experimental or ones that reinvented the wheel, but you don't need to do all of that to make good music, and I think Blackpink is a perfect example of that. They really do just have ownership of the girl crush concept, and I don't know if anyone has done it better than them. And if I want to listen to girl crush, along with songs like Priston V's Get It, Boombaya and How You Like That are my immediate go-tos. I don't love all of their songs, but the songs that I do love, I'm pretty head over heels for, and some of my absolute favorites of theirs are their collabs actually. I know I might be in the minority when I say this, but I genuinely really enjoyed Ice Cream. The 4 of them also sounded so good on Sour Candy, and my guilty pleasure is Bet You Wanna. I can't lie, I really like it. I know a lot of their music gets flack for being formulaic, but to me, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and it's definitely not broken yet. I'm super excited for the comeback in August. Hopefully it actually does happen this time and it doesn't get pushed back, because I've been itching for some new music for a while now. Like, I cannot wait anymore. Now, as for the worst discography under YG, it was hard to pick, but I ended up going with Treasure. I know their discography is pretty small, and I have 6 songs saved from it. Some of those are My Treasure, Going Crazy, Darari, and Bling Like This. And off the top of my head, some that I really do not like are Boy and I Love You. As you can tell, I'm a bigger fan of Treasure when they do more brighter concepts, and I wish they would release more music like that because I feel like they fit it a lot better too. I don't know, something about their more intense concepts just feels a little bit awkward to me. And although I do enjoy a really good amount of quote-unquote noise music, Treasure usually isn't included in that. I think a lot of their lyrics end up sounding kind of cheesy to me, and I'm especially not the biggest fan of the instrumentals in a lot of their choruses, such as Boy. The members are definitely super talented, they have some amazing vocals, but they're usually not able to show these vocals off in their music, and with their typical kind of sound, I don't think the members are really able to show off their full potential. But the brighter music has always been good, there's no doubt about that. Finally, for this video, we're going to be talking about JYP Entertainment, and my favorite discography under the company is ITZY's. This is a pretty biased opinion because ITZY is tied for my favorite girl group along with Meki, and I can acknowledge that their discography is not perfect, but I don't think any of the JYP groups have a perfect discography. I think all of their discographies are a little bit flawed in their own ways, but the one I go back to most right now is ITZY's. What I love about ITZY's music is that no matter what, it never fails to be fun. Whether it's through their singing or their rapping, ITZY's members are going to bring energy to the table every single time they record, and I think that's something that you can definitely notice because every time I listen to ITZY, I swear I just want to get up and dance. Most of ITZY's music is so infectious, and it's always such a good mood booster for me. The best way I can describe what I'm trying to say is that it's like drinking coffee in music form, if that makes sense. My favorite ITZY songs are Shoot, Cherry, It's Summer, Boombox, and Don't Give a What. And right now my favorite title track is Dalla Dalla by far, but I don't know, Sneakers is looking kinda promising, we'll see. And overall, even though I know ITZY face a lot of criticism for their singing abilities, for me, it's rarely noticeable enough to the point where it actually hinders the quality of the song, because most of ITZY's music caters more so to their actual strengths, which is being able to serve high energy without needing to hit super insane high notes. So this might be a cop-out answer because they just debuted and they only have 2 official songs under their name, but I didn't want to say any other group because I would just be lying basically, because NMIXX has my least favorite JYP discography by far. I mean, what's there to say about OO and Tank that hasn't been said by a million people on the internet before? I agree that both of those songs are basically just headaches in music form, and are an injustice to the members considering how talented all of them are. Hopefully with one of their next comebacks, JYP learns how to give them real music for once, because right now there's not a single thing about any of NMIXX's 2 songs that I can say anything positive about. I guess the superhero part in OO was nice, but that's really all you're gonna get out of me. And that concludes this video. Once again, everything that I said in here is just my opinion, and if you disagree, that's literally completely fine, like I could not care less. But alas, we are talking about K-pop stans here, so I don't really expect many of them to be reasonable. In order to prevent as much fighting as possible, in the comment section just let let me know what your favorite discographies from each of these companies are. And if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like or maybe even subscribing. It really does help me out a lot. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and without further ado, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.